दोस्तों इसके A very good afternoon to everyone. On today again with 9 was added. A very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the online platform of Drishti. So this is the Drishti learning app on which you are having this live online class, and myself, I'm Anish Venkatesh, and welcome everyone to this CAPF class for your polity section. And I did say you that by Monday or Tuesday we are going to end the course, most of the topics which we have covered. And one topic today again we'll be covering up, like yesterday we covered up the emergency provisions. Now today we will be covering up the local self-government, where our focus will be with regard to the panchayats and the municipalities and the important articles related to that. Okay? So all those who have joined the class, you can say hello or hi in the live chat. Okay. So local self-government. हम सबको पता है local self-government के बारे में. And the 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. They are very important when it comes to the local self-government. है ना? चलो. Now the concepts and the constitutional bases and all. ये याद रखना 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. It's with regard to the public, with regard to the Panchayati Raj institutions. ठीक है, Panchayati Raj institutions. And here part 9 was added, titled the Panchayats. Part 9, and that was titled the Panchayats. And Article 243, say 243O. This was dealing with the rural local government. And Schedule 11. And this Schedule 11, it had Article 243G. And it talked about 29 functions. Then we have the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Part 9A, added, titled the municipalities. ठीक है, पार्ट 9A और उसका टाइटल था municipalities. ठीक है, एंड आर्टिकल जो है 243B से लेकर 243ZG. ठीक है, एंड पार्ट 12, सॉरी Schedule 12, it dealt with Article 243W and 18 functions. देखो जो आपके पेपर एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है उसमें ये सारी चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Then 24th April is celebrated as the Panchayati Raj Day in India. और 2023 तक आपका 2.46 लाख पंचायत थे. फंक्शन जो है 11th और 12th शेड्यूल में 29 and 18 functions. And article constitutional, वो भी है Article 40 Directive Principles. It says that the state shall take steps to establish village panchayat. Then when we talk about the local government is nothing else but it is the government at the district level and below it. Government at the district level and below. That is the tier of government closest to the common people. इसी को grassroots level of democracy बोलते हैं. वो बोलते हैं ना deepening of democracy. ठीक है? So the local people are involved here. The tier of government which is closest to the common people. Plus, it is based on the assumption that local knowledge and local interest are essential for efficient administration. कि अगर local level में, village level, district level and block level में, if administration has to be efficient, then the local knowledge and local interest are very important. And it is the local people only who can raise concerns and who can achieve solutions by participating in decision making. That means local government is essential. Why? Because the local problems can be solved locally. And the local people, they know about the concerns. They also know about the solutions. So that's why their participation is very important. Plus, local गवर्नमेंट एक प्रिंसिपल को एम्बॉडी करता है, एंड दैट इज द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सब्सिडियरिटी. It embodies a principle, that is the principle of subsidiarity. Subsidiarity का मतलब maximum power should be given to the organs of government nearest to the citizens. Principle of subsidiarity. And this principle of subsidiarity का मतलब क्या है कि maximum power to be given to those people who are closer, या maximum power should be given to the organ of government which is closest to the people. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे पंचायत जो है वो close to the village है, तो maximum power should be given to the पंचायत when it comes to the village level. Block level में तुम्हारा पंचायत समिति, they must be given the power. District level में the जिला परिषद must be given the power. So in this way things are gone. Then when we talk about the constitutional articles, देखो सारा कुछ एक proper manner में दिया हुआ है कि आप एक बार पढ़ो, आपको सारा कुछ समझ में आ जाएगा, और ये आपके बाकी एग्जाम्स में भी काम आएंगे. This PPT. So यहाँ पे constitutional articles में we all know that the first one is Article 40, directive principles, and it says that the state shall take steps to organize village panchayat. States जो है, it will take steps to organize what? Take steps to organize village panchayat. ठीक है, state shall take steps to organize village panchayats. And the state shall also endow these panchayats with all the necessary powers and all the necessary functions. Then we also know that when it comes to part 9, then part 9 it was added by the 73rd and its panchayats. And part 9A, Article 243B to ZG added by this, that is the municipalities. Then 11th schedule 29 functions हैं, और ये related है, मतलब देखो यहाँ पे मैंने वो चीज लिख दिया था यहाँ पे सारा कुछ, ठीक है. So that is what is here. 11th schedule, it has 29 functions and it is embodied in 243. And 12th schedule, Article 243. ठीक है. And local government जो है is a stateless subject. Remember it? It's a stateless subject. Local government. So every state has its, मतलब every state implements through its own PRI acts. So local government एक stateless subject है, not a concurrent or a unionless subject. So that's why every state के पास अपना PRI acts है to this. Then what is the role of local government in democracy? Now when we talk about good governance, local government, because it is a symbol of self-government. So local government plays a very vital role in democracy. Pehla, political consciousness. Political consciousness means now the local people, they are directly participating in the decision making at the local level. So as a result, it enables this local government, whether rural or urban local government, it enables people in large numbers to acquire leadership at local level. इसके अलावा women empowerment, we all know that 1/3 of the seats in the local government, they are reserved for women. So there is a women empowerment sort of thing, Peter. Then democracy deepening, I said you, कि democracy को deepen करना बहुत जरूरी है. Only having democracy in a country is not enough. You have to expand democracy, you have to deepen the democracy. And deepening democracy means decentralization of power. Like India only had a 2-tier system of government, but 1992, the 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, it gave constitutional validity to decentralization. तो जिसके कारण democracy जो है वो आपका deepen कि grassroots, मतलब grassroots raises quality of higher level issue. Then planning and development, why? Because PRIs जो था वो units of planning था, district or village level plans. मतलब when it comes to the district level plan, the Zilla Parishad was doing the planning, and even for the intermediate level, the Zilla Parishad was doing the planning. So the PRI became the units of planning. Then local demands के voice, that is the local bodies, they connected the local demands with regard to the parliament and the state legislature. And also it provides executive functions, जैसे local sanitation, public health, drinking water, roads, primary education, ये सब, all these functions are performed by the local bodies. And also जो caste and local interest interact करते हैं. So as a result, जो hierarchies है, caste hierarchies, उसको break किया जाता है, and there is compromise on common issues. So when we talk about the role of democracy, the role of local government in democracy, then the first one is political consciousness. The second one, it is women empowerment. The third one, it is deepening democracy. The fourth one is planning and development. The fifth one, it is with regard to the voice to the local demand. And the sixth one, it is the executive functions. And the last one, it is breaking the class hierarchies. Okay, everyone? See, all those who are there in this live class, you can register your attendance saying hello or hi. So Jai Hind, everyone. Okay. Now, let's talk about the historical developments. Now, when we are talking about the historical development, let's go with the era ancient India. Now, we all know that in the ancient India, there were Gramin and Sabha and Samiti. So, Gramin भी थे, Sabha भी था, और Samiti भी था. And when we talk about the ancient India, then this is with regard to the Rig Veda and post Rig Veda era. मतलब ये आपका Rig Veda, ठीक है? It's Rig Vedic and post Rig Vedic. और Gramini was what? Gramini, important village functional. An important village functional. और वो भी तुम्हारा Vedic period. Then Sabha, it was the assembly for discussing agricultural matters. And Samiti, this was also assembly, but it had judicial powers. So there is a strong tradition of self-governing village republics, that is Gramini, Grama, Sabha, and all. So since ancient times also, we can say that there were self-governing, you can say, institutions. One of it was Gramini, then the Sabha, where agricultural matters के ऊपर decision लिया जाता था. And Samiti, it was also an assembly, but with judicial powers. फिर उसके बाद medieval period, what happened? Centralization of, in medieval period, there is centralization of leadership. That means, from one place only, the Raja is trying to rule the entire empire from one place. तो जब राजा पूरे एम्पायर पे रूल करता है एक प्लेस से, so there is a decline in local governance. ठीक है, local governance में आपका decline हो जाता है. Okay, but we can say that administration reached only to the district level, because village communities जो है, मतलब administration जो है, वो district level तक reach किया, and village communities we can say continue to exist. So centralized administration हो गया, centralized administration. ठीक है, then the British era, very very important. The British era. Now questions from here can come. Like 1816, what happened? Regulation conferred judicial authority. That means judicial authority to village panchayats, and that too in few provinces. Judicial authority mila to village panchayats in few villages. Then 1870 is referred as the Mayo's resolution. Referred as what? Mayo resolution. And it enlarged powers of local institutions. ठीक है, local institutions के powers को enlarge किया. ठीक है. Okay. So that is the Mayo Resolution 1870. Then Bengal Chowkidari Act. This Bengal Village Chowkidari Act, it empowered the DM to constitute a panchayat in any village. Then 1882, it's Lord Ripon Resolution. Lord Ripon का जो resolution 1882. And please remember, 1872, Lord Mayo established, ठीक है, Lord Mayo he established, he 1872 में Lord Mayo introduced representatives for municipalities. ठीक है, और 1882 में लॉर्ड रिपन, एंड रिमेंबर इट, लॉर्ड रिपन इज द फादर ऑफ लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट. Lord Ripon is referred as the father of local self government, and Ripon he intended to build local self government on the foundations of India's self government, and he called the Magna Carta of local self government. ठीक है, after that comes 1907, the Royal Commission on Decentralization. ये Royal Commission है decentralization का, and it was basically to enlarge the election process in local self-government. That is the strengthening the local self-governing institutions. So 1907, Royal Commission on Decentralization was appointed. और 1909 में Morley Minto Reform ने क्या किया? Morley Minto Reform it incorporated Royal Commission's recommendation. और 1919 में the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, diarchy system, तो local self-government transferred to ministers. That is Indian. मतलब local self-government जो है was a transferred subject. मतलब it was made a transferred subject. और बोला जाता है 1687 first municipal corporation, that was the Madras Municipal Corporation. सबसे पहला municipal corporation, and that was the Madras Municipal Corporation. And then 1726 similar corporations were there in Calcutta and Bombay. Clear? Yes, Shyam Wankade, Jai Hind. बहुत easily put है, आप आराम से इसको याद कर सकते हैं. ये year wise एकदम जरूरी है. Then comes post independence. That means after independence. But still, after independence, we all know Article 40 will come. After independence, Article 40, Directive Principles of State Policy. ठीक है? That means, that is while drafting the Constitution makers, ठीक है, while drafting the Constitution makers provided for state under Part 4, Article 40, first development after independence is Article 40. और बोला जाता है 1838 और experience और जो आज का लखनऊ है, ठीक है, the first democratic पंचायत system और वो भी princely state of औंध महाराष्ट्र, सॉरी वो औंध था, वो तो OUDH था, ठीक है. Then 1952 community development program was launched. Community development program launched. And it aimed to transform, ठीक है, it aimed to transform stagnant villages into developed rural societies. That is socio-economic, ठीक है, socio-economic transformation of village through socio-economic transformation of village through democratic and cooperative organization. Through democratic and cooperative organizations with government providing technical, ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट जो है वो प्रोवाइड करेगा टेक्निकल सर्विसेज, सप्लाई एंड क्रेडिट. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस वन, इसको आपको याद रखना है. ठीक है, ओके. देन 1953, ठीक है, इसके बाद 1953 की बात है. 1953 नेशनल एक्सटेंशन सर्विस लॉन्च हुआ, ठीक है, नेशनल एक्सटेंशन सर्विस. इट वाज लॉन्च और ये क्यों था? टू कैटलाइज एंड स्पीड अप द कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम. कैटलाइज एंड स्पीड अप द कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, ठीक है. और ये जो नेशनल एक्सटेंशन सर्विस है, एम्ड एट ट्रांसफरिंग साइंटिफिक, ठीक है, इट एम्ड एट ट्रांसफरिंग साइंटिफिक एंड टेक्निकल नॉलेज, साइंटिफिक एंड टेक्निकल नॉलेज टू एग्रीकल्चर, एनिमल हस्बेंड्री and rural craft sectors. But what was seen was that CDP, that is Community Development Program, और National Extension Service दोनों fail हो गए because of corruption, lack of people's participation and poor coordination. That means CDP and National Extension Service दोनों तुम्हारा fail हुआ. And why did it fail? Both of them it failed because of the corruption, lack of people's participation and poor coordination. Then 1957, remember it, 1957, the Balwant Rai Mehta committee was appointed and it was appointed to examine the CDP and NES. कि CDP और NES को तुम्हारा करने के लिए. So now let's talk about the Balwant Rai Mehta committee. कि Balwant Rai Mehta committee जो 1957 year of establishment, it was 1957 Balwant Rai Mehta committee. And Balwant Rai Mehta committee, it was appointed to examine CDP and NES. और बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी it founded that it failed because of corruption, lack of people's participation, lack of education and poor coordination. अब बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी का की recommendations क्या है? What are the key recommendations of this बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी? अब की recommendations में यही है कि establishment of PRI and he called it democratic decentralization. So basically he called it as what? Democratic decentralization. ठीक है? Establishment of PRI he called democratic decentralization. पहला चीज कि first recommendation he said that a three-tiered system, that is a three-tiered system of panchayat, three-tiered panchayati system, जहाँ पे village पंचायत होगा, then पंचायत समिति and जिला परिषद. Village पंचायत जो है at village level, जिला पंचायत समिति और block at intermediary. ठीक है? So this will be at the intermediary level or you can call it as the block level. Simple में बोलो at the block level. and Zila Parishad at district level. तो बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी का पहला रिकमेंडेशन ये था. दूसरा रिकमेंडेशन ये था कि डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स एट विलेज लेवल, कि विलेज लेवल में जो मेंबर्स होंगे वो डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड होंगे, कि विलेज लेवल द मेंबर्स विल बी डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड. ठीक है. एंड दे सेड दैट जो ब्लॉक लेवल है इट विल हैव एक्स ऑफिशियो मेंबर्स लाइक द एमएलएस, एंड जिला परिषद जो है दैट विल बी हेडेड बाय डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट. डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट जो है वो जिला परिषद को हेड करेगा. एंड शेड्यूल कास्ट एंड शेड्यूल ट्राइब का रिजर्वेशन रहेगा ऑल लेवल्स. एंड वी कैन से राजस्थान adopted first और पहला पंचायत जो था वो नागौर on 2nd of October गांधी जयंती के दिन, and then 1959 में था. ठीक है, 2nd October 1959. Then it was followed by Andhra Pradesh on 11th October 1959, and by 1960 बोला जाता है 95% of 6 lakh villages under पंचायती राज. ठीक है. अब कुछ इश्यू था बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी का. ना बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी का इश्यू मतलब बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी का रिकमेंडेशंस को लाया गया, बट इश्यूज क्या था? नॉन यूनिफॉर्मिटी ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर. जैसे केरला और जम्मू एंड कश्मीर दे वर हैविंग 1 टायर, देन हरियाणा एंड उड़ीसा तमिलनाडु 2 टायर, एंड राजस्थान एंड आंध्र प्रदेश दे वर 3 टायर, एंड वेस्ट बंगाल हैड अ 4 टायर. प्लस नो इलेक्शंस वर हेल्ड फॉर 10 years in some states, and powers and functions were also not clear. So when we talk about the Balwant Rai Mehta committee, yes, the first panchayat came up in Rajasthan, Nagaur, then Andhra Pradesh and all, and then we could see that by 1960s 95% of the 6 lakh villages they were under the panchayati raj. But still Balwant Rai Mehta committee ke baad there were lot of issues which were there. That is, first issue was with regard to the non uniformity of the panchayati raj structure. Jaise Kerala and Jammu and Kashmir there was 1 tier, then for Tamil Nadu, Odisha and Haryana they had 2 tier, then Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh 3 tier, and West Bengal had 4 tier. Plus the powers and functions they were not clear, and there was no election which was held in these panchayats for the past 10 years. अब बलवंत राय मेहता कमेटी के बाद तुम्हारा अशोक मेहता कमेटी आता है 1977. अशोक मेहता कमेटी जो है इट वाज फॉर्म्ड बाय द मोरारजी देसाई जनता पार्टी गवर्नमेंट. Now this is something which was formed by Morarji Desai Janata Party government. Now it had made 130, more than 130, but इसका जो recommendation था, पहला recommendation, it said replace the 3 tier with the 2 tier. 3 tier को 2 tier से replace करो, और जो first tier होगा उसमें जिला परिषद रहेगा at the district level. And then there will be the mandal panchayat, that is cluster, मतलब मंडल पंचायत रहेगी. And mandal panchayat will be a cluster of 15 to 20 villages and population तुम्हारा 15 to 20,000. So 2 tier पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशन का रिकमेंडेशन किया. First was the जिला परिषद district level पे, then the mandal panchayat. It will be a cluster of 15 to 20 villages, and that is with a population of 15 to 20,000. And it said that district would be the first point of decentralization. ठीक है, district would be the first point of decentralization. And न्याय पंचायत की बात की गई, that is separate bodies for judicial functions, and also scheduled caste and women, tribe and all reservation देना है, representation through reservation. So this is अशोक मेहता कमेटी. Clear? तो ये आपका अशोक मेहता कमेटी के बारे में है, और इसमें खासियत 2 tier system की बात की गई. Then the Ashok Mehta committee, it also said that the political parties should participate in the Panchayati Raj elections. Political parties को participate करना चाहिए Panchayati Raj elections, and the Panchayati Raj institutions must be given constitutional status. और social auditing भी होना चाहिए government policies का. By social auditing का मतलब people को audit करना चाहिए government policies का, वो भी Panchayati Raj institutions. So remember in 1977 Ashok Mehta committee he gave more than 130 recommendations. Mainly आपको उसमें बताए न्याय पंचायत, then 2 tier system, then SC/ST women representation through reservation, then political parties should participate in Panchayati Raj elections. ठीक है, so that at Gram Sabha level people can control, prevent those who are not in power. Then give constitutional status to PRIs and social audit of government policy. But VP Singh का but ये implement नहीं हुआ. ठीक है, so it was not implemented. Remember it. Then after that comes the GVK Rao committee. इसको आप मत वो करो. ठीक है. Then comes the GVK Rao committee 1985 appointed by Rajiv Gandhi government. Now this committee it recommended 4 tier Panchayati Raj institution. 4 tier Panchayati Raj institution. Village, block, district और state development council. ठीक है, village, block, district and state development. Village रहेगा, village के बाद block, block के बाद district और district के बाद state development council. And this state development council it will be headed by CM and other ministers as its member. ठीक है, and reduce जो developmental role है district collector का उसको reduce करना. ठीक है, और एक नया पोस्ट क्रिएट करना है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट कमिश्नर, न्यू पोस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट कमिश्नर, एंड ही कॉल्ड PRI, मतलब he had called PRI grass without roots, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, ठीक है, grass without roots, ठीक है, why? Because due to neglect and because of, he said that because of excessive bureaucratization, ठीक है, of PRI, that has led to grass without roots, ठीक है, excessive excessive bureaucratization. So he has called it as grass without roots. याद रखना, grass without roots. GVK Rao committee. Then comes 1986 LM Singhvi committee, and it was appointed to recommend revitalization of PRI for democracy and development. Appointed to recommend the revitalization of PRI for democracy and development. और इसमें जो recommendations था, constitutional status must be given to PRI, ठीक है, and his recommendations leading to the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Then administrative officers should serve at village level. Then political parties should not participate in PRI elections, and regular elections होने चाहिए, and the responsibility must be on the state electoral officer of the state and state finance commission for allocation of finance, और tenure जो है PRI का 4 years होना चाहिए, और more power to the जिला परिषद. So this is with regard to the LM Singhvi committee, ठीक है, कि किस तरीके से रिवाइटलाइज किया जाए PRI फॉर डेमोक्रेसी एंड डेवलपमेंट. इसीलिए इट वाज अपॉइंटेड, एंड फर्स्ट रिकमेंडेशन वाज दैट PRI must be given constitutional status. Next, administrative officer should serve at the village level also. Political parties should not participate in the PRI elections. Regular elections, which is the responsibility of the chief electoral officer of the state, and also state finance commission होना चाहिए to allocate funds, and PRI का जो tenure है it should be 4 years, and more power should be given to the जिला परिषद. इसके बाद LM Singhvi committee के बाद also we can say that Thungon committee 1989 came up. It also talked about the constitutional status and all, ठीक है, Thungon committee, and Gadkil committee भी आया 1988, ठीक है, remember it, 1988, ठीक है, and चाहे PK Thungon और ये तो establish state election commission and state finance commission, tenure 5 years plus reservation, SC, ST as per their population proportion, and 1/3 seats reserved for women. तो यही सब था, ठीक है, यहाँ पे बहुत रिजल्ट, ठीक है, and then the 64th Constitutional Amendment Act Bill 1989 passed in the Lok Sabha but failed in the Rajya Sabha. फिर VP Singh गवर्नमेंट फॉल कर गया. Then finally PV Narasimha Rao's government passed the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, और rectified by 17 states, ठीक है, और 24th April 1993, और 74th वाला जो है वो 1st June 1993. So पंचायती राज it was rectified 24th April 1993, और जो urban local वाला है it was 74th Constitution, it was rectified 1st June 1993, ठीक है. अब 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1993 से 1992 से क्या-क्या constitutional changes आया, ये देखो, added part 9, और part 9 में articles सबको पता ही है, बार-बार वही है, प्लस पंचायत को एक constitutional status मिल गया, ठीक है, it became an added 11th schedule, और इसमें 29 functions थे, ठीक है, 11th schedule, and it had 29 functions, ठीक है, 29 functions. इसके अलावा came into force 24th April 1993, so it came into force 24th April 1993, National पंचायती राज डे 24th April, और इसको 17 states ने रेक्टिफाई किया, ठीक है, 17 states रेक्टिफाई किया. अब इसमें कुछ प्रोविजंस कंपलसरी है, ठीक है, देयर आर कंपलसरी या बाइंडिंग प्रोविजंस आल्सो, एंड देयर आर प्रोविजंस व्हिच आर यू कैन से वॉलंटरी और ऑप्शनल, ठीक है. तो जो कंपलसरी और बाइंडिंग प्रोविजंस है उसमें आर्टिकल 243A it is with regard to the organization of Gram Sabha, कि Gram Sabha का organize होना चाहिए. और Gram Sabha क्या है? Gram Sabha, it is a body which comprises of all the registered voters in a village. So organization of Gram Sabha. Then with regard to the next one, Article 243B, three-tier system of Panchayati Raj. That is for states over 20 lakh population. For states जो less than 20 lakh है, they should avoid the intermediate tier. So this is with regard to the constitution of Panchayat, Article 243, three-tier system of Panchayati Raj. Then we have that direct elections to all seats in the Panchayat at all levels. कि direct elections होना चाहिए to all seats in the Panchayats at all levels. Direct election. ठीक है? और जो minimum age to contest है, वो 21 years है, not 25. Minimum age to contest, it is 21 years, it is not 25 as in Lok Sabha. And direct elections to all seats in the Panchayat and at all three levels. But जब हम बात करते हैं to the post of chairperson at intermediate and district level, तो वहाँ पे आपका indirect elections है. ठीक है? Indirect elections for the post of chairperson और वो भी intermediate and district level. ठीक है? And seats reserved रहेगा. Seats will be reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and that too in proportion of the population at each level. ठीक है? मतलब seats के level में भी reservation रहेगा, chairman post में भी reservation, plus reservation for women, that is not less than 1/3 of the total seats, including scheduled caste and scheduled tribe seats at every level, plus chairperson और उसमें भी उनको रहेगा. ठीक है? इसके अलावा आर्टिकल 243 के very very important state election commission. ठीक है? State election commission appointed by the governor, but the president can remove it. और state election commission में there will be a chief electoral officer, the state election commissioner. So article 243A जो है वो state election commission के बारे में, and 243I it is the state finance commission and it is appointed by the governor every 5 years. ठीक है? Appointed by the governor every 5 years. और पंचायत का जो elections होगा वो every 5 years में होगा. That is the term of elections of the panchayat. ये article 243E. और if dissolved before 5 years, fresh elections within 6 months. ठीक है? Fresh elections within 6 months. ये पहला चीज. दूसरा चीज ये है newly constituted panchayat after dissolution shall serve only the remainder of original 5 years. मतलब मान लो एक पंचायत चल रहा है और वो डिसॉल्व हो गया, तो जो न्यूली इलेक्टेड पंचायत है वो रेस्ट ऑफ द टेन्योर टिल 5 years वो आपको पावर में रहेगी. ठीक है? एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द रिजर्वेशन ऑफ सीट्स, देन इट इज 243D. रिजर्वेशन ऑफ सीट्स जो है वो 243D. ठीक है? रिजर्वेशन ऑफ सीट्स 243D. ओके? एंड उसी तरीके से कुछ वॉलंटरी प्रोविजंस भी हैं. वॉलंटरी जो प्रोविजंस हैं, दैट इज वोटिंग राइट्स ऑफ MLAs and MPs इन पंचायत बॉडीज. ठीक है? वोटिंग राइट्स ऑफ MLAs and MPs इन पंचायत बॉडीज, दैट इज ऑल अप टू द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर. देन रिजर्वेशन ऑफ बैकवर्ड क्लासेस, इट इज लेफ्ट टू द स्टेट्स. आर्टिकल 243D क्लॉज 6 वाला. ठीक है? देन गिविंग PRI फाइनेंशियल पावर्स, ये भी स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर के ऊपर छोड़ दिया. Then more functions came out to be added under the 11th schedule. This is also left to the states. And giving power of taxation to the PRIs, that is also left to the state. ठीक है? So these are voluntary or optional powers. और बोल रहा है because this 11th schedule functions और जो financial evolution है ये voluntary है, compulsory नहीं है. तो जो बोला जाता है the core reason why PRR remains weak in most of the states, or less than 20% of the states in India में which has developed pure fully 29 functions, less than 20% of the states. ये provisions है आपका, देखो पूछा जा सकता है. So these are the provisions you must remember. Article 243, it's the definition, that is Gram Sabha, intermediate Panchayati Raj population village. Then 243A Gram Sabha क्या है? Body consisting of persons registered as voters in village and panchayat areas. Then 243B, it is the constitution of panchayat, that is 3-tier for the states, 3-tier for states with more than 20 lakh population. और जहाँ less than 20 lakh population होगा, intermediate level को हटा दो. Then 243C, its composition of the panchayat. Composition जो है, it is left to the state legislature and head of the intermediate and district panchayats, they are indirectly एज is if disqualified for state legislature elections, age less than 21 years. ठीक है, then 243G, that is the power, authorities and responsibilities, ठीक है, जो 11th schedule में है. Then 243H, it is the financial powers, that is the state legislature, it may authorize the panchayat, state legislature, it may authorize the panchayat to divide, collect taxes, ठीक है, and assign state taxes, provide granting aid from the consolidated fund of the state. Then I में state finance commission है, governor इसको अपॉइंट करता है after every 5 years. ठीक है, इसके अलावा 243J ये ऑडिटिंग होता है अकाउंट्स ऑफ द पंचायत. Then 243K वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इलेक्शंस ऑफ द पंचायत, जिसमें स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन आएगा और गवर्नर इसको अपॉइंट करता है और प्रेसिडेंट इसको रिमूव करता है. ठीक है, एंड देन L इज एप्लीकेशन टू यूनियन टेरिटरीज एंड M एग्जेम्पशंस, दैट इज नागालैंड, मेघालय, मिजोरम, ये सब में एग्जेम्पशन है. दे आर द शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज. ठीक है, दे ऑल आर व्हाट शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज. अब अगर मान लो हम बात करते हैं हिल एरियाज जैसे मणिपुर, दार्जिलिंग डिस्ट्रिक्ट, वेस्ट बंगाल, तो यहाँ पे दार्जिलिंग गोरखा काउंसिल है. सो दीज आर द एक्सेप्शंस. तो N जो है कंटिन्यूएंस ऑफ दिस लॉ एंड O इज बार टू कोर्ट इंटरफेरेंस इन इलेक्टोरल मैटर्स. कि इलेक्टोरल मैटर्स में कोर्ट जो है वो आपका इंटरफेयर नहीं करेगा. ठीक है जी, क्लियर एवरीवन? नाउ जो हम अभी ग्राम जो हम बात कर रहे थे उसमें एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टायर दैट इज एट द विलेज लेवल. इसको हम लोग ग्राम पंचायत बोलते हैं या वी कैन कॉल इट एज विलेज पंचायत. ठीक है, ग्राम पंचायत और वी कैन कॉल इट एज विलेज पंचायत. ठीक है, ग्राम पंचायत और विलेज पंचायत. अब इसमें प्लीज रिमेंबर जो मेंबर्स हैं दे आर डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड. विलेज पंचायत में जो भी मेंबर्स होते हैं वो डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड होते हैं. प्लस इट इंक्लूड्स ग्राम सभा. और ग्राम सभा क्या है? ऑल रजिस्टर्ड वोटर्स ऑफ द विलेज पंचायत एरिया. एंड मतलब इट इंक्लूड्स ग्राम सभा और दूसरा इट इंक्लूड्स न्याय पंचायत. न्याय पंचायत जो है वो जुडिशियल रोल प्ले करता है. तो न्याय पंचायत और ग्राम पंचायत, ग्राम सभा, ये दोनों को ये इंक्लूड करता है. देन मेंबर्स दे आर डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड इन सिंगल डे और मल्टीपल इलेक्शंस ऑन द सेम डे. सिंगल डे इलेक्शन या मल्टीपल इलेक्शंस ऑन द सेम डे. सो डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स. इसका हेड का नाम क्या है? ग्राम प्रधान. ठीक है, द नेम ऑफ द हेड इज ग्राम प्रधान या मुखिया या सरपंच या प्रेसिडेंट. ग्राम प्रधान, मुखिया, सरपंच या प्रेसिडेंट कुछ भी बोलते हैं. एंड दिस हेड इज डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड इन सम स्टेट्स. सम स्टेट्स में डायरेक्टली है एंड इनडायरेक्टली इन अदर्स. ठीक है, दैट मींस इट इज लेफ्ट टू द स्टेट्स whether they want to elect to him directly or indirectly. ठीक है, और हेड जो है लुक्स आफ्टर एग्जीक्यूटिव फंक्शंस. और इसी वे में सारा कुछ दिया हुआ है. अब कुछ और फंक्शंस हैं जैसे विलेज पंचायत क्या कर सकता है? माइनर इरिगेशन कर सकता है, सैनिटेशन वर्क करता है, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर सप्लाई को देखता है, चाइल्ड एंड वुमेन डेवलपमेंट पर ध्यान देता है, नेचुरल कैलामिटी सपोर्ट करता है, प्राइमरी हेल्थ, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन को ओवरसी करता है. सो द विलेज लेवल इज दिस. अब विलेज लेवल के बाद जो सेकंड आता है दैट इज द ब्लॉक और द इंटरमीडिएट लेवल. ब्लॉक या इंटरमीडिएट लेवल का नाम जो है वो है पंचायत समिति. ब्लॉक और इंटरमीडिएट लेवल इट्स रेफर्ड एज पंचायत समिति या यू कैन कॉल इट एज ब्लॉक समिति या मंडल बोल सकते हो या तालुक पंचायत बोल सकते हो. ठीक है, ब्लॉक समिति, मंडल, तालुक पंचायत या ब्लॉक्स, मतलब दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड. अब यहाँ पे टाइप्स होते हैं मेंबर्स के. प्लीज प्लीज थोड़ा ध्यान देना. 2 टाइप्स ऑफ मेंबर्स. एक आपका डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड होते हैं और दूसरा एक्स ऑफिशियो. वन आर डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड एंड द सेकंड वन इज एक्स ऑफिशियो. एक्स ऑफिशियो में विलेज पंचायत के हेड होते हैं. ठीक है, ठीक है, विलेज पंचायत के हेड होते हैं. और ये जो विलेज पंचायत के हेड होते हैं ये रोटेशन सिस्टम में चलते हैं. जैसे 15 विलेज में 5 सीट्स है तो इसका मतलब ये जो एक्स ऑफिशियो मेंबर्स है वो आपका क्या करते हैं? रोटेटिंग. ठीक है, और पार्टिसिपेंट क्या है? बोथ एक्स ऑफिशियो एंड डायरेक्ट. तो यहाँ पे दोनों एक्स ऑफिशियो और डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स पार्टिसिपेट. इनका यहाँ पे हेड होता है वो ब्लॉक प्रमुख होता है. क्या होता है? ब्लॉक प्रमुख. और ब्लॉक प्रमुख जो है इनडायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड बाय एक्स ऑफिशियो एंड डायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स. मतलब ही इज इनडायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड और इनडायरेक्टली इलेक्टेड बाय बोथ ऑफ देम. और फंक्शंस वोकेशनल एंड टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, एग्रीकल्चर पे, लैंड डेवलपमेंट पे, इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करता है. एंड विलेज पंचायत का सुपरविजन भी ये आपका करता है.
हेलो.
And here it's the directly elected members हैं और ex officio members हैं. Ex officio में heads of block समिति. So 2 type of members. One directly elected members and the second one is ex officio members. और ex officio में जो heads हैं block समिति का वो है. And head जो है is indirectly elected. ठीक है, is indirectly elected. Head का नाम क्या है?